Please welcome to the stage, Mike Zakarian.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Little NBA bit coming at you. Hope you enjoyed some Western Conference Finals hoops last night. Also, I don't know if you're seeing StreamYard still in beta, but look at your little chitty chatties right up on the screen right now, so you can feel more included, more involved in what's going on. Let me see. Does that actually work on Twitter.com? Can you see it in there as well? Yeah, you can. That's pretty fire. So there you go. Listen, you're a part of the show. It's not just me. It's you. It's us. I know my calculus. There we go. Who do we have in the chat this morning? I see Manic Otto's up in here. What game is Ant going to show up? Wow, Common Man was slander 2 minutes in. Love to see it. Happy birthday to James Vanderbeek. Thank you, Boston Based Stubbs is here. Happy National Memo Day. There we go. Good stuff all around. Hope everybody had a nice little start to the week. We didn't have the NBA bit yesterday because we didn't have any basketball to talk about. So we took the day off yesterday, but not the full day off. You want to know why? Because we had a new episode of Hoop Sense drop yesterday on Count the Dings with our guy Trey. He returned. Speaking of returning, look, we got Ricky Ricardo in the chat. Jimmy Peacocks. Let's go. Up and early, up and at 'em. I had to make sure I shut my door over there. But yeah, we got some hoops to talk about. Just a heads up too, we'll have the NBA bit tomorrow and on Friday, which is very exciting. And then next week, I think I should have our off-season schedule set for you. So we'll announce that next week, which is a lot of fun. Maybe we'll get some 89 Cavs in here tomorrow. But yeah, we gotta talk some basketball. Oh, we have an old man hoops update. I didn't get home until 11 o'clock last night. All right. From my own basketball game. And when I tell you, I woke up at 3:30 in the morning and my back was on fire. So we are just down so bad this morning. We're down so bad this morning, but we're here. We got D Rose in the chat. We got Chris. Let's go. Let's talk some basketball last night. And listen, guys, we're not gonna freak out. All right. We're not gonna freak out about fouls. And two things can be true. Did Shea get a way too favorable foul or whistle early on in the game? Yes, he did. Should like 2 or 3 of those not have been called? Absolutely. At the same time, it didn't matter. I hope that is adjusted. It sucked for that to happen immediately. Like that was just in the first quarter, and it was just bang, 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 just kept going down. That was pretty frustrating, but at the same time, we need to not, no crying. There was a tweet by Nate Duncan here, although this is going to make people cry, but there was a tweet by Nate Duncan here that said, Shea drew 12 fouls last night, 12 fouls, 7 of them shooting, 4 non-shooting, and 1 loosey-goosey ball foul. That's a lot of fouls right off the bat. I'm going to say that is a lot of fouls. So I said we're not going to cry about it. You can cry a little. Hold on, we get a coffee sip here. But let's get into last night's game. I thought Julius Randle is maybe turning into the best player in basketball. Some of the best. Like I can't believe what he's doing out there. He was so good. And shut up, Magic Carp, for pointing this out in the Discord. He was so good in the first half that the Wolves were like, I mean, the Warriors, Jesus, the Thunder were like, let's throw two at him. Let's just throw two at Julius Randle. He's not going to beat us anymore. Stan was saying, feel like this was the game the Wolves needed to win. Rusty SGA, big Randle, they should worry. Yeah, I think they are in trouble. And then, yeah, D-Rose giving J-Dub some Scottie Pippen. I think you're tripping a little bit. I mean, he is a very good two-way player, but anyways, let's get into it. So Shea was the best player. He was plus 22 on the floor, MVP, 10 for 27 for the field. Got to the line 14 times, knocking down 11 of them. He had 31, 9, and 5. SGA also, by the way, it sounds like they're going to announce that he won the MVP today. So congrats to the NBA for waiting until May 21st before they announce that. Might as well wait till 2031. Why announce it now? Just like let's keep the mystery going. I dare you to announce next year's MVP before you announce this one, okay? Raven says that field goal spread for the Wolves, Ben sheesh. Yeah, this is here's the thing, guys. If Minnesota is going to shoot sub 30% from three, it's Thunder and 4, maybe 5. It's bad, man. So 114-88 was the final score. But look at this, dude. Like Naz Reid, 0 for 7 from 3. Dante DiVincenzo, 3 for 12 from 3. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 2 for 9 from 3. What's that? That's what, 6-28? That's what did, oh my God. That's 5 for 28, 5 for 28 from 3 off the bench. That's not going to get it done. And I'm not even mad at Minnesota for taking that many threes, right? Because I think you're like, well, listen, we need to win the variance game. Like Naz Reid should be able to shoot threes, right? He is a good 3-point shooter. Dante, in theory, is a good 3-point shooter. Although I feel like he took a little bit of a step back this season, or maybe he was just red hot when he was on the Knicks, so it like changed how we feel about him. But if those guys aren't going to hit threes, they don't have a shot in hell, man. Look at the bench. Like Naz minus 21, Dante minus 20, Nickeil Alexander-Walker minus 14. Ant-Man tweaked his ankle in the first half. It seemed like he was fine, though, in the second half. However, he was only 5 for 13 from the field. He had 18 and 9. And it was regular season Randle, 5 for 6 from 3, 5 for 6 from the line, 28 points and 8 boards. He was like their best player out there. I don't know what Minnesota's going to do, right? Like they were in this game early on. They're leading by 3 at the end of 1, leading by 4 at halftime, and then they get outscored by 14 in the third and 16 in the fourth. It's not gonna happen. Oh, you're right. I should play the regular season Randall drop. Excuse me. I was off my game this morning. Let's find our guy Julius, who needs a new drop. He's postseason Randall now.
Regular season Randall.
But OKC kind of came out and they looked a little they looked like a team that had just played a 7-game series. That's what they looked like. And this seemed to be, as Stan said, which I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. This seemed to be the game that Minnesota needed to grab to like really apply some pressure. And for OKC's defense, and again, we talked about, I mentioned this on Hoop Sense yesterday. Cleveland, we always talk about the Cavalanche, right? They get hot from 3 and all of a sudden it's a tidal wave or an avalanche. And then they like blow the game open, right? The Thunder do this on the defensive end and just turn it like into a transition game because they keep ripping it from them. Look at this stuff here from OKC. Like, so Chet Holmgren had a steal. Jay Will had 5 steals. Isaiah Hartenstein had a steal. SGA had 3 steals. Lou Dort had 2 steals. What's that? 5, 6, 11, 12. That's 12 steals from their starters. 12 steals from their starters. And then Cason Wallace gave him 1 off the bench as well. That's just that, like, it just becomes easy buckets, easy offense right from there. And you see how they shot from the field, right? So they got to the line 26 times, knocking down 21 of them. They only took 21 threes, but knocked down 11 of them. And like, I wanted to check one other thing here. So they took Timberwolves went 29 for 83 from the field, while the Thunder went 41 for 82. I think, again, to get OKC in this spot, not rested at all, this was your opportunity to steal a game. And this feels a little too, wild overreactionary. This kind of feels like a 4 or 5 game series. It really does. And I'm sure Minnesota is able to steal 1. So let's say 5. But OKC, and we talked about it after they got through that game 7, like those are the wins that you're looking for, right? The ones where that game 7, or that entire series against Denver, where You need to be down in the fourth quarter. You need to come back and win. You need to be in tough situations to like build up those playoff scar tissue and then show that you can win these types of games when you were a young team. You know, everybody like to masturbate to the playoff experience take, right? Well, I think that is what that series was against Denver. And then they come out of Minnesota. They're like, oh, whoa, we slayed the dragon. We get over that hump. And then it was still a little dicey in that first half. And then the Band-Aid was ripped off and they were gone. And I just don't see how Minnesota is going to get there. Now, you could say, is Minnesota going to shoot this poorly again from three? Probably not, right? Probably not. But they also did lose by, what's that? I can't do math. I can't do it. 20. What is that? 26? They lost by 26. So even if they hit like another 7 threes, you lose by 5. And now, of course, that, you know, the pacing of the game changes when that happens. But still, I think they're in a tough spot, and they got a good game from Randall. I mean, Randall truly was the best player on the floor in the first half. It was crazy. Justin Catchins called him Klay Thompson, and I was like, hell yeah, that's a great take. Julius Randle is Klay Thompson now. You got to head to the wage cage. Have a good one, y'all. All right, see you, Dan. Have a great day. So I just don't know, man. I don't know how Minnesota bounces back from this outside of saying, hey, their bench needs to knock down threes. And I don't know what like the data analytics will say about like the types of threes. Remember after the Celtics Knicks game 1 and game 2, they were like, well, actually, all of those threes were wide open and they were good shots. And they still lost both of those games. And so maybe these threes were wide open threes. But again, man, like, I don't know. I think this is going to be a really tough spot for Minnesota moving forward. And I just think the longer this series goes on, we're going to look back at that last round and be like, wow, OKC and Denver clearly were the two best teams left in the West at that point. Which is kind of nuts, too, because we just spent the last couple of days talking about the dire straits that the Denver Nuggets are in without any bench, which is true, without any shooting, which is true, paying Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray as much as they are paying them. But at the same time, they were one game away from probably being the title favorite. Now, maybe the odds would be a little bit smoothed across the board if it was Denver and not OKC that advanced. But still, I don't know. The Wolves just need PJ Washington. I mean, honestly, that's not wrong. Let's get a PJ Washington drop.
PJ Washington. PJ Washington. PJ Washington.
Also, need to know how the chat feels about seeing their own chat on the screen. Do you feel seen? Do you feel heard? Is this like an added experience that are like, wow, can't miss this show because my takes are going to be on the screen? But anyways, 114-88, that is the final. The defense was the story. Caruso can cover anybody, man. He's guarding Anthony Edwards. He was guarding Julius Randle last night. He guarded Jokic in Game 7. I mean, incredible stuff from him. Let's look at what Caruso's line was. Caruso finished the game with a +10. He had 9 points, 3 boards. Also, let's get Wallace a little bit of love. Wallace only had 3 points. He was a +21 out there. 7 dimes. He had 7 dimes, right? Wallace, man. Yeah, those prices back then. You're absolutely right. 7 dimes from Wallace. Also, one thing to pay attention to here, and again, Magi Carp shouting him out again. Hartenstein only played 20 minutes last night. Chet only played 26 too, but I think he would have cleared 30 if this game stayed close. I don't think we see a ton of Hartenstein, and honestly, Rudy only 21 minutes last night. Rudy this does not, again, we're going to have the same conversation that we always have. Rudy, dominant regular season defender. And then when we get to the postseason, why are there situations where he can be played off the floor? And I don't know if it's because it's of his defense, but man, just like offensively, it's a 0. And when they are going to need to knock down threes, Rudy's not the guy. You need Naz Reid out there. But Naz Reid, can we look at Naz Reid's last handful of games here? Because I was thinking about this after I saw his shooting performance last night, which I believe, what did we say was 0 for 7 from 3, 1 for 11 from the field. Here's his last couple of games, last 5 games, right? So here we go. We already did the loss last night. So the win against Golden State when they won 121-110, he went 0 for 2 from 3. In the win in game 4 win, I think it was, he went 1 for 3 from 3. I guess he had a good first game, but his point total here, he 4 points last night, 8 points the night before, 5, 9, and then 11. Like, just not, six man of the year, Naz Reid. Bring out the towels. We need you there, Naz. Like, if you're not going to be knocking down threes, what are we doing out there? Yeah, Honda Pilot. There we go. No ad right there. Raymond said, other than the T-Wolves bench, Jaden has to get have a better game. He started great. Yeah, and I mean, McDaniels too was kind of on the receiving end of some of those foul calls, right? So he fouled out in only 24 minutes. And yeah, if you're not going to get peak McDaniels, that Minnesota's not going to get there. I mean, Anthony Edwards, I know, like, didn't have a great offensive game, but you also got to remember, Ant's now playing a different type of defense, right? Golden State without Steph, like, oh, I need to get by Kuminga and Buddy Hield. Now they're like, hey, what about Dort, Wallace, Caruso, J-Dub? When SGA is your worst defender, you're in a world of hurt, right? But I thought Ant and Randall were fine, but if the others aren't going to contribute, you're cooked, man. They need McDaniels out there. McDaniels needs to be playing like 38 minutes a game. They need Naz. They need Dante to knock threes. And I mean, this is boring analysis, but if they're not going to knock threes, it's curtains. And I honestly, man, I don't want to get too far ahead, but it does feel like OKC might just like sprint to a title at this point. And maybe not. Maybe we get to the winner of the Knicks Pacers and all of a sudden it's game 1 of the NBA Finals and bummies get tight or whatever. But it just feels, if OKC just seemed so much better than Minnesota last night. They just seemed comfortable. And again, they were at home. They were comfortable. Maybe Minnesota was a little rusty after having a few days off because they made quick work of the Warriors, but I don't know. Yeah, and I agree. It's all about the turnovers, but that's the problem. Minnesota is a turnover-prone team, right? So they turned it over 17 times last night to the 12 of OKC, but I forget what the number was, but they got a ton of points off turnovers. So I don't know. I don't want to say cooked, but I do feel like it's cooked. Let's look at, so just a heads up, they play tomorrow night. So we're just kind of like every other night through the weekend. But tonight, baby, we've got the Bing Bong Boys hosting the Indiana Pacers in game 1. I don't know how many people saw this, but Halliburton, the guy who got hit with some trash, is going out to Indiana for game 3, I think. For game 3, he's flying him out there. That's very sweet of Tyrese Halliburton. All right, I think we're back and probably a little bit grainy. This is the same exact time this happened yesterday. Isn't that nuts? Like the same exact time this went down. There we go. R.I.P. me. R.I.P. me. I forget what I was just about to go look up. Oh, yeah, the Jack Settlement tweet, which was hilarious. I hope they checked his socials before agreeing to bringing the fan out. Oh, are his socials crazy? Are his socials crazy? All right, let me find this tweet from our guy Jack, who, again, I don't know. Maybe he's just making like good money off of these tweets or something, but this take was just crazy. All right, here we go. He goes, so this was the original video of people throwing trash at him. He goes, "What's the line? Knicks fans could yell at him, but throwing trash was crossing the line. Need to understand." And I just said, I don't know, Jack, feels like you nailed it. Yeah, I don't think you should throw trash at people. That's going to be my take here. So thanks for tuning into the show. I don't think you should throw trash at people. I also probably don't wear the Halliburton jersey. I wouldn't do that either. That doesn't mean you should throw trash at them. I also wouldn't do it. Both things can be true. But yeah, anyways, they're flying that guy out there for game 3, which will be interesting because, like, what if they go down 0-2 and it's like, congrats, man, welcome to game 3. But tonight's game, if we go back over to the worldwide leader, let's take a look at tonight's spread. We've got the Knicks favored by, what is it? The Knicks are favored by, my guess is 3.5. I haven't looked at it yet. Let's see. The Knicks are favored by 4.5 with a total of 223.5. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Well, no, you want to wear a Brunson jersey there? This is what I would say. You wore the Halliburton jersey not during a Pacers game. You know what I'm saying? If that was game one, sure, the Pacers are playing. You were just wearing it. You were choosing the violence. And I'm not saying they were asking for it. How dare you? You guys are trying to goad me into it. I'm just saying maybe use your head a little bit more, you know? Maybe use your dome a little bit more. I'm not saying you should get trash thrown at you. I'm saying use your fucking head, kid. Let's take a mental health break. Let's do that. Let's take a mental health break. So you virgins... We can't go down this road. We can't talk about like how you need to have had sex in order to have responsibility. I just think it changes you, you know? I think it changes you. All right, so how are we feeling about the new round here? How are we feeling about the conference finals between the Knicks and the Pacers? I kind of think the Pacers are going to win this series. Now, I've picked against the Knicks almost every single series, so maybe I am dumb. But I think the Pacers are an interesting matchup. And for the third consecutive series, I feel like if Karl Anthony Towns plays great, the Knicks are going to win this series. I think he is the advantage. I think Miles Turner is a fine rim protector. I think he's obviously can stretch the floor a little bit with the 3-ball, but Cat should have the advantage here, much like he had the advantage against Al Horford, much like he should have had the advantage against Jalen Duren. But I do think the Pacers match up pretty nicely against them. I think no one's going to actually stop Jalen Brunson. No one is turning the faucet off of what Jalen Brunson has done and can do, especially if it gets close in the fourth quarter. Brunson's going to get his. I do think, though, like they have the defenders in Nesmith and in Nembhard to at least just like slow him down and tire him out a little bit. So I do like the matchup. However, and I think I said this on Monday, so I apologize for repeating myself. I think if the Knicks take care of games 1 and 2, I think they'll be fine. And I mean, of course, yeah, if they go up 2-0, I think they'll win. But I do think the longer this series goes, the more it benefits Indiana. Just because of one, they play like 10 guys. They play double the amount of guys that the Knicks play. And I just think they will wear them down a little bit. At some point, OG's going to grab his back of his leg. You know, at some point, it's just going to happen. When OG Anunoby plus Tom Thibodeau, that equals soft tissue injury. So at some point, it's happening. I hope it doesn't. Knock on wood. I hope it doesn't. But again, if this goes like a deep, deep series, I could see it happening. Or you could make the case, though. You could make the case that the Knicks, similar to OKC, kind of like got over that hump in that first round where Mikal Bridges started to figure something out and everybody just started to play a little bit better, and now they're just playing with supreme confidence. So there is a world where they just go out there and spank them. But I think the matchups are going to be so interesting. How, assuming OG Anunoby gets Siakam and Mikal Bridges gets Halliburton, like how those defensive matchups square up. And then again, like how they decide to defend the Knicks. Like, what kind of pace are they going to play at? Are we going to see Indiana continue to control the speed of the game? Or are the Knicks going to be able to slow it down a little bit more and be a little bit more methodical? I don't know. I'm very excited. I'm way more excited about this series than I am the Western Conference, just because it does not feel as cut and dry. Regulator said the 4 healthiest teams advance, and Knicks are using to play 42 minutes per player. Yeah, that's true. Numi called Wolves in 6. Numi, you think so? Do you feel okay after last night? We talked about that at the top of the show. Do you feel okay? Again, glass half full on Minnesota is you probably don't shoot like 1% from 3 again. But, man, to go, 15 for 51, those are Joe Mazzulla numbers right there. And Todd said Cat might earn his money this series. I mean, I thought he earned it in the Celtics series too. I mean, he had two really good games that were important for them. But I do think the Cat versus Turner conversation is going to be the most important. But that's I think that's it for a little preview here. I like, again, I think if this is a long series, it's either Pacers in 7 or Knicks in 5. How about that? How about that for a fucking take, man? Knicks in 7 or Pacers in 5, and then I think Numi's Wolves are cooked. And I'm sorry, Numi, but that's where I'm landing. Okay, let's look at. I wanted to look at a couple of things before we slow down here. Let's look at some free agents for next year. I was looking at this over on Hoops Hype. This is going to be such like a weird offseason, I think, because I just don't know what teams have money to spend, and like so many of like the top free agents are either restricted or player options, and like I just don't know what they do. I don't know what they do. Common Man just throwing slander around in the chat. And listen, I would too if Nico Harrison was in charge of my team. You know what I'm saying? Cooper for Jaylen Brown. Nobody's doing that. Why would nobody's doing that? Let's take a look. So here's some of the free agency stuff over on Hoops Hype. So we got James Harden, but again, it's a player option. So I don't know, what that, like he's staying with the Clippers, I would imagine. I don't think James Harden is going anywhere else. I'm not even sure who would be opening up the piggy bank for Mr. James Harden. Then you have LeBron James, but again, I imagine LeBron James is staying in Tinseltown with the Lakers. I know there's going to be some fun rumors. I'm sure on his podcast with Steve Nash, he'll drop a couple of breadcrumbs being like, oh, maybe I'm going to go over here. But my guess is the Lakers are going to keep him. He's going to stay there. I think the most interesting thing with the Lakers are how they treat Austin Reeves and getting their big man. Are they able to find somebody? Oh God, Tesla. There we go. Guys, you can cash your bets. Because the under was 30 minutes. The over under was set at 30 minutes before Tesla would be like, actually, Brandon Ingram was a great signing. Yay. So everybody go cash your bets over there. But yeah, I think how they treat Austin Reeves will be pretty interesting. I think this one is actually Minnesota's got a couple of decisions to make, because I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker is another one that is a free agent, but Julius Randle has a player option. And I think, a couple of weeks ago, you'd be like, oh yeah, he's probably he's just going to take the 30 million and come back. But I don't know, man, he's been playing so good that I wonder if he decides to like try to renegotiate and get a better deal here. Or I would imagine he likes playing in Minnesota. This seems to be the happiest ball that we've talked about this last week. I think the happiest ball I've seen Randall ever play, where it seems like he's having a good time. Even when you look back at those Knicks years where they made it to the playoffs and were against the Hawks, right? Like, and he was an all NBA caliber guy. He still didn't seem like he was having that much fun. And he looks like he's having a good time. Tesla said, can't wait for the Raps to be neck and neck with the Celtics next season. Yeah, that could happen. That could happen, but just remember, your leadership chose Brandon Ingram. So there you go. Maybe Scotty Barnes finally takes the leap. We got Kyrie Irving, who's got a player option. I imagine the Dallas Mavericks are about to throw Kyrie a bag, would be my guess. They are kind of stuck doing this because of the situation. They're in win now mode. The good news is it sounds like Kyrie's going to be back closer to January, so Dallas just needs to hang on until then. I don't know what this team is going to look like. Their offseason is pretty interesting. I'm assuming they're just taking Cooper Flag instead of lighting their fan base on fire. I don't know. Todd says even with this playoffs, you don't think Randall is long-term for Minnesota? I mean, unless you just don't think Minnesota wants to pay him, Todd, I do. I think he's going to stay there. Unless Minnesota says they don't want to spend money, which, historically speaking. Miles Turner, the original John Collins, who is always in trade rumors, he is a free agent there. I would imagine he comes back. He seems to like it there unless somebody throws a big bag at him. But again, the biggest question here is who actually has a big bag. Giddey's a restricted free agent. He's looking for a big old payday. I imagine Chicago keeps them because they like to do stuff that keeps them in the 9 seed. Freddie Van Fucks, baby. Van Vliet's got a team option with Houston. Houston actually made it sound like they were going to go out there and like have Freddie come back, which I was surprised by. David, I can see the big B on your shirt in your photo, right? So you are a Red Sox fan. You got to stop speaking Cooper Flag into existence. He is not getting traded, and he's definitely not getting traded for Jaylen Brown. He's not. It's just not happening, man. All right, so Fred VanVleet, that's a big payday, and I don't know, maybe if Houston was trying to create some leverage, right? I think it's like 42 million. I don't know. Kuminga, we know he's going to be a sign and trade guy, right? I don't know who's taking him. I know Weisberg, I think, put out 75 tweets yesterday about this, but the Golden State, the people who are tied closely to Golden State made it seem like they'd be interested in Derek White. There's no world, though, I think, where the Celtics are like, oh, you know what we're missing? Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. So I don't see that happening unless Boston really decides they need to get under the second apron, and that's the only way they can do it. Naz Reid has a player option, 6 man of the year. He's got, what is it? 13 million coming at him, I think, next year. I don't know. I don't know what he does. I don't know what Naz does. Malik Beasley, runner up for 6 man of the year. He could be on his way out. He's a free agent. My guess is, and I don't want to steal this take. I forget who it might have been. Zach Lowe. Let's just say it's Zach Lowe. My guess that Detroit will keep whoever is the cheaper of Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr., right? They probably don't want to give a lot of money to one of those guys. So whoever's cheaper, you guys can hang around. So Malik Beasley, but I think Malik Beasley is a good piece for somebody that just, again, if he's coming off your bench just to chuck threes, he's like the better Buddy Hield, in my opinion. So we'll see. We'll see what where's the wiggle going to go? Wow, I did not know his name was Santiago. His name is Santiago? I was calling him Santi Aldama this whole time. Santiago, a whale's vagina. Santiago Aldama. I love it, Santi. I like him, man. Before he got dinged up, I thought he was I knew he wasn't going to win 6 man of the year, but I thought he was in the conversation. He was really good. Memphis is a team to watch this offseason. I have no idea. I have no idea what they do. I do know how nicknames work, but I didn't know it was Santiago. I didn't know Santi was short for Santiago. Maybe that's very common, like Mike is short for Michael. I did not know that, all right? I am a dumb American. But yeah, Memphis, I think, is going to be pretty interesting this offseason and how they treat their roster. I don't know what they're going to do. Memphis is kind of in that situation. They are like a poor man's Houston right now, where they do have a lot of young players, but they're almost like Houston 2 years from now, where we kind of already know what we've got from these young guys. Now, the leadership of the team made it sound like they were committing to Triple J and Ja, but then we're a little quiet on Bane. I don't know. You could give me almost every scenario, like that they keep all 3, they move off Ja. I think if they move off 1, I don't think they move off 2 of these guys. I can see them moving off 1. I don't think they move off 2, but I think there is I would say a 50-50 shot that one of Ja, Triple J, or Bane is on a different team. I think Triple J is the most interesting to me because he is... he does play defense. I know he doesn't rebound in common man's. He's about to throw that in the chat. But I think his game is the most useful come playoff time where Ja, you have to play his style of offense. Honestly, maybe Bane has the most value because Bane does defend and also is one of the better 3-point shooters in the league. I don't know. I don't know how they treat it. Santiago translate to St. James. Oh, okay. All right, thank you. Very helpful. Let's look at a couple more. Cam Thomas is a restricted free agent, baby. Where's he going to go? And Chuck. Who wants Cam Thomas on their team? Who wants Cam Thomas? Is any good team right now being all we're missing is Cam Thomas? I feel like we don't even have a good feel. We've seen him score a bunch of points. We've seen him take too many shots. We've seen him have good games. I just don't know, can he play in a winning environment? Because if you just need some guard offense, man, and Orlando doesn't want to break the bank on a go, they just want to find a couple of pieces, does Cam Thomas make sense there? Todd saying Cam, the Kuminga of guards. I can't believe this, Todd. That is great. That is great. Cam Thomas, the Kuminga of guards. Send them both to the guys. I'm in on the Wizards. All right. I don't want to send players to rot in Washington. I don't. Yeah, I didn't like this either. I wasn't suggesting that. That was one I did not suggest that, Maddie. Listen to the tape. I don't think I was on board with that. All right, Kelly Oubre's got a player option. He was in a little bit of trade rumors here over the last few days as the 76ers decide what they do with the 3rd overall pick. They were talking about he could be potentially included in a number 3 pick to bring somebody back home. Brolo, the aging big boy from Milwaukee, he's up there. Ty Jerome will definitely be leaving Cleveland because he is going to be getting paid, and Cleveland has no money to pay anybody. So it's tough for Ty Jerome because if he just sat out the 2nd round, he'd be making so much money. But, man, I think we saw – it's much like some of the Celtics guys tanking their value here at the end of the 2nd round. Ty Jerome was just MIA, and maybe that means he's going to Miami. But he was rough. I still like Ty Jerome, though. I like his game. You just don't want to play him 30 minutes a game, man. You don't. You got Bobby Portis, the Bobby Lobby. He's got a player option. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I do think he is someone that could be gone just because I could see him getting a little bit of cash, a little bit of cold hard cash. And I think he's a great example of somebody that he's not going to excite you for 82 regular season games, but I do think he makes a ton of sense in the playoffs. The three ball's a little bit streaky, but he defends the hell out of it. He's somebody, again, like a good 18 to 24 minutes for you off the bench. I like Nas' game. Karis LeVert, too, always likes to be in the 6th man of the year conversation. He was traded at the deadline to the A-Town Down. He's a free agent. I could see a team giving him some cash. And there we go. We already said Miles Turner, the OG Johnny Collins. Well, Johnny Collins right there, once again, in conversation. He's got player options. So, we'll see. Let's look at what number 20 was. Let's look at what number 20. And Clint Capella, which, again, Clint Capella, please, for the love of God, get him off of – for the love of God, get him off. Clint Capella, get him out of Atlanta. Because it's Okongwu season, baby. It's Onyeka Okongwu season. Which I'm excited by the way. Well, the second the postseason wraps up, we'll have some really good season-long best ball type fantasy basketball videos dropping with some rankings and some breakout potential, but I'm excited for the Okongwu. The other thing that I wanted to touch on before we wrap up or see what else you guys have for me, I don't know, we can see what kind of chaos went down. I'll give you an old man hoops update. The Athletic did an interesting, so Brad Stevens did his exit interview with the media 2 days ago, and he mentioned that Kristaps Porzingis had what was called a post-viral syndrome, PVS. And then, thankfully, The Athletic also did a little article. Let me give credit to who did it. It was Tess DeMeyer. Shout out Tess DeMeyer. But did a little piece there explaining what that was, because I had no idea. And essentially, it's like a hangover. This is not how they wrote it, by the way, because someone is probably going to be like, that's not what it is. What I took about from it was that it was like a hangover of a sickness. So he had that respiratory infection all through March, and now post-viral syndrome is just like you're tired, you still struggle breathing a little bit, you're just under the weather. You're under the weather. And it is kind of weird that they just said, Brad basically was like, oh, he should be able to play in Eurobasket. He should be able to play for Latvia in Eurobasket, which is in a couple or a month or so, meaning that he only needed 2 weeks of rest. Now, if that was true and you thought you could get through Orlando anyways, why didn't they just shut him down? I understand we're not going to get this information, and I promise I'm not trying to tin foil hat. Oh, it's because I was reading the chat. Tin foil hat this or anything like this. I'm not saying there's any chicanery that's going on. It's just kind of weird that they didn't know until the season ended, and they're like, oh no, we actually do know, and all he needed was rest. If you knew that a couple weeks ago, why don't you just shut him down? Try to get through Orlando without him, or shut him down for games 1 and 2 against the Knicks. Maybe it's something that didn't rear its head until the New York series. But I mean, if anybody watched that Orlando series, I mean, KP had one good game of those 5. I don't know. David says Brad should trade him before he plays internationally. David, I got to tell you, man, I think this is a tough day for you and your takes. But I appreciate him. I want you to keep bringing him out. I actually disagree, because I think if I would much rather him go play in Latvia and hopefully raise his trade value floor a little bit, because I don't think he has a ton of trade value right now. He didn't play. Also, Celtics lying. What else is new? They're addicted. Todd, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? The Celtics lying. You are a Warriors fan, right, Todd? Your team literally just said, I actually think Derek White for Jonathan Kuminga is a pretty good deal. You guys are the 2 timeline team. You drafted James Wiseman number 2. What are we talking about? What are you talking about? Todd needs a mental health check. We can put him in timeout. But I'm just not going to do it, guys. And it feels good to not cave to the chat because I am the boss. Like I said earlier, I'm in charge today. I am in charge. You can't tell me what to do. Anyways, that'll be something to monitor in the next couple of weeks of how KP is doing. The rest of that conversation with Brad was basically just him talking around stuff, being like, "Are we going to?" Basically saying we won't know anything until the draft, focusing on the draft, and then right around that time is when we'll figure out what's next. Patrick with a great point here. There's the Vegas Summer League Discord is heating up. For those that have never been. We are heading out to Las Vegas for Summer League to go see Cooper Flagg and Ace Bailey and all the gang. We're going to go see, we're going to be out there July 10th to the 14th. And we got a crew going out there. We've got a little cabana action in the MGM pool on Saturday, I think it is. We're going to be going to some games on Friday and some Sunday games. We're going to, I don't know, maybe we do some Top Golf. Maybe we get some brouhahas. Boston Bay says we need to get a live show. I'll chip in for a stage. Boston Bay, if we have over 40 people there, we can do a live show. Less than 40, I can't do it. I think right now we're probably in the 20 plus range right now. If we get some more people out there, I would love to do a live show. Would love to. But I don't think we can do it unless we have more than that. It wouldn't make sense. And I'll tell you right now, the stage we used last time cost $1,000 for the 3 hours that we had it. So we can do it. We can do it. But and I'm happy to put some cash down if we have enough people going out there, but I don't want to do it. But Justin and Steve from the 89 Cavs will be out there. Our guy Jeb will be out there. Weisberg's out there. We got Patty Coyne. We got Boston Base. We're going to make Top Shot Tesla go out. So if you've never been, it's a really good time. We've had a lot of fun out there. I think this is our 5th consecutive year going out there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're on the fence about it, highly recommend. Summer League tickets themselves are actually pretty cheap. It's kind of like going to see almost like a professional AAU tournament where they've got 2 different courts that are going on. So it's at the, I wanted to call it Harvey Mack, something in Mack Center, Harry and Mack Center, where they've got games. Like they've got and that's where UNLV plays. So you've got a game at their main court, but then a game at their practice facility as well, or like their practice gym, which is just like up in the same building. And you're just kind of bouncing back. Thomas and Mac, thank you, Patrick. You're just kind of bouncing back and forth between courts. It's a lot of fun. We're staying at the MGM Grand, but you can stay wherever you want. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. Harry Mack, the freestyler. Harry Mack. I mean, I can't get it. No matter like. Even if you reset your algorithm and you go on TikTok, all of a sudden Harry Mack's on Omegle just being like, give me 3 words, man. That's not what he sounds like. That's a terrible impression, but there he is. But anyways, yeah, come out to Vegas. And last but not least, guys, the Old Man Hoops. We had a game last night at 9:15. We are now 7-0. We have 1 game left in the regular season before the postseason starts. 7-0. Also, Common Man's going to be in Vegas. Let's go. And I'm in a lot of pain. It was another physical game where they had nobody that was 5'7" on their team. I had to cover who I can only describe as an Italian Manu Ginobili, who was very crafty, but very like cheap physical. And I know he wasn't playing cheap, but man, he would just try to back me down every time. He was doing those hook things. I think I've got this like big bruise right here. I got smoked in the game, but it was a 1-point victory. Your boy, I didn't have a great. Well, I shot okay. I only took like 5 shots, and knocked down a huge triple. Down 1, a minute left. Bang bang. And we got a W, so 7-0. And yes, this is true. Reducing. I said this though. You can't even say this is slanderous. I told you guys this after my first game when I told you I showed up assuming that I was going to be the 4th or 5th best player on the team that would just play some defense and shoot threes, right? And then I got there and I was like, I'm going to have to take a lot of shots. That's a bad sign for your team. And so I was scoring a lot of points, leading the league in threes, but our team sucked. Then we did some Brad Stevens shit. We found some new guys added to the squad. All of our roles got a little bit less, and it's been good. It's been good for basketball. That's what you want me scoring like 9 points a game, and then we're good. So 7-0, baby. One more W. We should finish. 3-Z guy. That's good. Any yells and screams last night? I got into it with that same Italian Ginobili guy. He didn't. Listen, I have to box out. I'm a little guy. I got to like butt in the belly. You know what I'm saying? I had to box out, and he like threw me to the side after one, and I fell down. And I just like looked at it happened right in front of the officials. Like, hey, feel free, man. You know, I don't think those whistles aren't just for the aesthetic. You're allowed to blow it. You're allowed to use it. You watch Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Just come on, give me a little bit of that. And then he got really upset. Not the ref. The ref laughed at me and didn't blow the whistle. But the other guy was like, "That's not a foul, dude. You fouled me." And I was like, "Oh no, I boxed you out." And he's like, "Yeah, but if you box me out, I'm allowed to do this." And I'm like, there's no scenario in the entire game where you're allowed to do this to somebody. You just doing that motion is almost a foul. So he got a little feisty. But then like 2 trips down is when I hit that 3. And I yelled after I hit that 3. That's because everybody was yelling. Like, it was a pretty intense game. I think we almost choked it away too. But we hit that 3. We there was like a Tom Brady-esque "let's fucking go." I think we yelled something like that. It was late, man. It was late. I can't be responsible for my actions. I'm 40 plus and I'm playing basketball at 10 p.m. Eastern time. What are we doing? But it was a big triple. But I'm really sore. I mean, I already told you guys this. I woke up at 3 a.m. and I like iced my back for 20 minutes at 3 a.m. this morning. For like, because I woke up to pee and went, "Ugh!" And that was not when I was peeing. That was just from getting up. And I woke my wife up. I didn't know it was going to hurt and stood up. And I was like, oh my God, I almost died. Armenia against Italy, round 2. Wait, do I have that? No, I don't. I thought I had my jersey right there. I thought I had my Armenia jersey. Armenia basketball team's not good. Although the assistant coach for the Golden State Warriors, I believe, is one of the coaches for the Armenian national team. So let's go, baby. Let's go, Armenia. I think that's it. Do you guys have anything else? We got some Splash Sports contests. If you guys aren't over on the Splashy, come hang out. Those have been fun. It's a little bit harder now with only one game, but just a 4-tier thing. Been a lot of fun. We took down some W's last night. Just shared a link if you want to join us over on Splish Splash, taking a bath. And then I don't know. I think that's it. Guys. It's a rainy day on the East Coast over here, or at least gloomy. I don't know if it's going to rain all day, but I think I've avoided the sprinkle. I got to get the dog out here after this. I got to check in with the 89 Cavs fellas, but I'm hoping we can do something tomorrow and get the team and get the crew together. And then the NBA bid will be here tomorrow and on Friday. And then again, I'm working on this off-season schedule. It's going to look a little bit different. I think instead of having like a show 5 days a week, I think what I'm going to try to do is go 2 times a week, but they're going to be long shows. So we're going to get a couple of different guests for each day, try to extend it and do like, some big 3-hour blocks or something like that. So maybe like a 9 to 12 on Monday, 9 to 12 on Thursday, stuff like that. Regulator says draft night plans. Yeah. Your boy's going to be at the draft. We're going to be at the draft. I actually don't know if I can. I think I've got a fun announcement about the draft, but I've done this before when I've gone full Roham and have said something and then it didn't come true. But it does sound like I've got a fun announcement about the draft and Summer League, honestly. But stay tuned for that. I will be at the draft, even though I've said before, I don't want to go to the draft because it's not a fun experience. But there's a second layer to this that is going to be, and you'll understand why I want to go to the draft. So as long as that happens, I will be there. But yeah, I think I am going to be at the draft. So that'll be fun. So yeah, a couple announcements coming up soon. We got some draft announcements, some Summer League announcements. And then, the Summer League announcement doesn't really impact you guys at all. It's just like a cool thing for your boy. And then we'll have, some off-season stuff. And yeah, that should explain it. So yeah, so announcements, which is good because we're at that time where we only got one game a night. And somehow we made this show go 48 minutes already. So that's really impressive stuff for us. But let's call it there. I got to go drink some pineapple juice because my throat is killing me. And you guys are going to be like, oh, that's a sex thing. It's not. It actually, makes your throat feel better. So that's what I'm going to do. I hope you all have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow 9 a.m. NBA Bit. We're going to be talking about the Bing Bong Boys, the Pacers, and then we're going to see if the old T-Wolves can bounce back. Stay safe out there, y'all.